Well, the South African Human Rights Commission in the Eastern Cape is holding an inquiry into the right to basic education and the regulation of school uniforms. Participants include various civil society organizations like Sibanye LGBTI, Access Chapter 2, the Commission for Gender Equality, the Eastern Cape House of Traditional Leaders, and the SA Hindu Maha Sabha. Issues to be explored include whether the perceived over-regulation of the appearances and uniforms of learners contribute towards a violation of their equality, dignity, freedom of expression and basic education rights. Lwando Nomoyi has more on this.
We are in the Eastern Cape in Gqeberha, where the Provincial Human Rights Commission is in the province, doing a 2 to 3 day inquiry into the regulation of school uniforms and whether the over-regulation actually violates some of the rights of the learners. But in discussion with me, I do have the National Commissioner to Rights of Education, Advocate Andre Guam. Thank you very much for your time. So just briefly explain to us, the purpose of the inquiry today.
Yes, the inquiry is not only about school uniforms and the regulation thereof, but also the regulation of appearances of learners in general. This is done through schools' codes of conduct, so it relates to uniform-related issues, the costs involved, that sometimes it is exclusionary in the sense that learners are required to, or parents are required to buy the full range of uniform that the schools prescribe, but it also relates to matters such as hair and hairstyles. For example, we still find many schools in the country that would regulate very specifically that boys' hair should be short and that girls are allowed to wear their hair longer, but then also it relates to the binary approach to these matters. Even the national the national guidelines, which are still draft guidelines on school uniform, still only refer to boys and girls, which is a binary approach. It does not really cater for the LGBTI community and does not specifically also protect them and their rights. So it's a range of issues that this inquiry is looking into. This morning we heard from Professor Mositu from the Nelson Mandela University here in Gqeberha. We also listened to Mr. Mruebu from the Commission for Gender Equality. So we will, over 3 days, have various inputs, including from the Department of Education here in the Eastern Cape. We've invited both the MEC as well as the head of a department, but we'll even go as far as listening to independent school institutions such as ISASA, as well as Kiro, because these issues are not only relevant to public schools, but most definitely also to independent schools as such. It appears that, there needs to be reform in terms of schools' codes of conduct as well. And therefore the South African Human Rights Commission is in contact with the National Department of Basic Education to make sure that we develop, for example, a model human rights orientated code of conduct for schools in the country, so that everyone can be clear on our code of conduct that complies with the Bill of Rights look like.
And obviously you also said during some of your submissions in the presentation that it's not only recommendations that the South African Human Rights make it, but also provide subsequent directives. And in this matter, are you looking to provide a recommendation or a directive?
Yes, the South African Human Rights Commission these days do not only issue recommendations, you're correct, but also directives depending on the circumstances. And this is a pertinent matter where it would be quite appropriate for the Commission to issue directives, and these directives may be directed towards the National Department of Basic Education, the Provincial Department here in the province, and institutions such as the governing bodies, etc.
Thank you very much for your time, Advocate.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that was Advocate Andre Guam, just briefly outlining, the plans that they have as the inquiry, and that this will go on until the 16th of March here, whereby various departments will also engage them, and bring forward their presentations as well. We understand that the Department of Education is also due to appear and respond to some of the submissions.